Welcome to Love Lies and Alibis. Let me ask you something. If your wife just gave birth and you weren't sure the baby was yours, would you still sign the birth certificate? Drop your answer in the comments, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe if real stories of love, lies, and betrayal are your thing. Because this one, it starts in a hospital room and ends with a truth no one saw coming. I was standing in the hallway just outside the hospital room. My wife, Avery Hines, had just given birth. I should have felt joy, relief, maybe even pride, but all I felt was numb. Inside the room, she was smiling, cradling the baby. On her left, her mom, Zanaya. On the right, my mother, Carla. Everyone looked at peace except me. Then the nurse walked out holding a clipboard. "Mr. Cardenas, we need your signature for the birth certificate." I looked her straight in the eyes. "I'll sign it after the DNA test confirms the baby is mine." Avery heard me. Her head snapped toward the door, and just like that, the joy vanished from her face. The baby started crying, and so did the truth. Avery's head snapped toward me like a whip. "Are you accusing me of cheating?" she said, her voice loud, shaky, like she couldn't believe I'd say something like that at a time like this. I didn't blink. "I'm not accusing," I said. "I know you did." The room went still. Zanaya stepped forward fast, voice already raised. "Uriel, no. Not here. She just gave birth. What is wrong with you?" Carla looked at me, confused. "What are you talking about? Is this some kind of joke?" I shook my head. Calm. Controlled. No joke. You all want me to sign that paper like this child is mine? Fine. But first. I turned to Avery. "Should I call Zahir Mosley and let him know the baby's here?" Avery's face crumbled. She didn't answer, didn't deny it, just held the baby tighter, like he could protect her from what was coming. Zanaya gasped, stunned. "Zahir? That's not. No, Uriel, you're wrong." I reached into my jacket pocket, pulled out my phone, and scrolled for a second. Then I held it up. "You recognize this, Avery?" On the screen, flirty messages, pictures, her telling Zahir he can never know. "I think it's yours." The baby started crying in her arms. Her hands shook. Her lips moved like she wanted to speak, but nothing came out. "You lied to me," I said. "You were planning to lie forever. You were going to let me raise his child like it was mine." Zanaya looked horrified. Carla looked at Avery, really looked at her, and took a small step back. Avery finally whispered, I didn't know what to do." I stared at her. "You had options. You picked betrayal." Avery's voice cracked as she finally spoke. "Zahir said no one would find out." She wasn't yelling anymore, just whispering, like she could shrink the truth if she said it softly enough. "He told me to keep it quiet, that it didn't mean anything, that it was a mistake we could leave behind." I clenched my jaw, but I didn't shout. I didn't need to. "I've known," I said flatly. The room froze. "I've known for months." Carla looked at me in shock. "You knew?" I nodded. "I saw the messages. I saw the photos. I saw the receipts from the hotel. I just didn't say anything." Avery looked like she was about to faint. "Why didn't you say something?" Zanaya snapped, like I was the one who'd betrayed someone. "Because she was pregnant," I said. "And I didn't want to risk hurting the baby, even if I wasn't the father." Avery sobbed harder, rocking the baby in her arms. Zanaya stepped in, putting a hand on her daughter's shoulder. "She made a mistake, but that baby still needs a father, Uriel." I looked at her. "If the baby is mine, I'll be there. I won't run from my blood." Then I turned to Avery, and my voice dropped to something colder. "But if he's not, I'm done. With you. With this." Carla stepped beside me now, quiet but firm. "He's right. We can't pretend none of this happened." Zanaya glared at her. "You're choosing him over your grandchild." Carla didn't blink. "I'm choosing the truth." I took one final look at Avery. "After they discharge you, I said, voice like ice. Take her with you, Zanaya. She's not coming back to my house. Then I turned and walked out of that hospital room, and for the first time in months, I felt free. 3 days later, the envelope showed up. Plain white, no emotion, just facts sealed inside. I sat there for a minute, just staring at it. My heart wasn't racing. I wasn't scared. I already knew what it was going to say. Still, my hand shook as I opened it. One line hit harder than anything else. Paternity probability, 0%. I sat back. There it was. The truth. Black and white. Unforgiving. The baby I held hope for wasn't mine. I folded the paper, slid it back into the envelope, grabbed my keys, and drove straight to Zanaya's house. She answered the door first, looked surprised to see me. Behind her, Avery stood in the hallway holding the baby, her face lighting up with something that almost looked like hope. You came, she said softly. I knew you would. We can talk. I raised a hand and shut it all down. I'm not here for you, I said. I came to give you this. I held out the envelope and handed it to Zanaya. She looked confused, then pulled the paper out. Her eyes scanned the top. They stopped. Her mouth opened, then closed again. She cleared her throat and read out loud, paternity probability, 0%. The words echoed through the room like a bomb went off in slow motion. Avery's knees buckled. She dropped into the arm of the couch, holding the baby like he was the only thing holding her together. Zanaya went pale. She looked up at me, stunned. I didn't flinch. Now you know, I said quietly. So stop calling me. Stop asking me to come back. Stop pretending this can be fixed. Avery whispered something I couldn't hear. She was crying, broken. But I didn't go to her. I didn't comfort her, because that part of me was gone. I looked at Zanaya one last time. He's not my son, and she's not my wife. We're done. And just like that, I turned and walked out the door. No yelling, no fight, just the truth and my freedom. You'd think, after everything, she'd accept it was over. But no. Avery decided to fight the divorce. Filed under abandonment. She had the nerve to paint herself as the victim. Said I walked out on my family. That I was cold, unforgiving. Her lawyer, Raven Blackburn, was exactly the kind of pit bull you'd expect. High heels, high hair, low blows. Day one in court, she stood up and made me sound like a monster. Your Honor, my client was emotionally neglected, left to suffer through a pregnancy alone. Mr. Cardenas refused to support her or the baby, then abandoned them both in a time of crisis. I didn't even blink. Then Baker Compton, my lawyer, stood up. Calm, collected, no theatrics, just the truth. He placed the DNA test on the judge's bench. Your Honor, we are not here to argue emotions. We're here to present facts. This child is not Mr. Cardenas's, and Mrs. Cardenas knew that was likely, but still misled him through the entire pregnancy. He slid a folder across the table. These are the messages. Photos. The affair was ongoing, not a mistake. Not a moment of weakness. A choice. Repeated. Hidden. Deliberate. Raven objected, irrelevant, but the judge waved her off. Then came the moment I'll never forget. Avery was called to testify. She got up shaky, eyes red, face pale, and she crumbled, right there, in front of the whole room. I still love him, she sobbed. I made a mistake, but I love him. He was the only man who treated me right. I didn't mean to hurt him. Tears, real ones this time. For once, she wasn't acting. But I stood, quiet, steady, looked her right in the eye, and I asked the only question that ever mattered. Then why wasn't I enough? She didn't answer. She couldn't, because deep down she knew. The judge leaned back, hands folded, took a moment. Then, this court grants the petition for divorce. There will be no claim for custody, child support, or shared assets. The marriage is legally dissolved. The gavel fell. Just like that, it was done. Not with shouting, not with revenge, but with the truth, cold, clean, and final. I didn't celebrate. I just walked out of that courtroom. Free. After the divorce, I moved into a small apartment near my job. 1 bedroom. No nursery. No framed wedding photos. Just blank walls, a mattress on the floor, and silence. But for the first time in months, the silence felt good. I got a new job. Smaller firm. Shorter commute, lower stress. No one there knew what I'd been through. No one whispered behind my back. And I liked it that way. Each day felt like rinsing off a little more of the past. No more late-night phone checks. No more fake smiles at baby showers. No more wondering if I was losing my mind. Then one day, by complete chance, I ran into Alina Villanueva. We'd gone to college together. She used to organize food drives and tutor underclassmen. The kind of person who saw the best in people, even when they didn't deserve it. She was still that person. Still calm. Still kind. Still glowing from the inside out. We grabbed coffee. I figured it would be small talk and old stories. But instead, I told her everything. Avery. Zahir. The baby. The DNA test. The courtroom. And she just sat there, listening. No judgment. No pity. When I was done, I expected her to say something careful, something safe. But all she said was, "That sounds heavy. I'm glad you're standing." That line hit harder than any therapy session I'd had. We started talking more, then walking more, then seeing each other on purpose. No pressure. No expectations. She didn't try to fix me. Didn't ask for pieces of me I hadn't healed yet. She just made space. And little by little, peace found me. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just slowly. Quietly. For real this time. 3 years later, I was standing in my backyard. Morning sun. Coffee in hand. My son giggling on the porch. Chasing bubbles, Alina blew into the breeze. Yeah, I said my son. Not through a lie. Not through betrayal. Through love. Alina and I got married a year after we started dating. Simple ceremony. No big speeches. Just real people, real vows, and real peace. We named our son Isaac, which means laughter. Because after everything, that's what he brought back into my life. Laughter. Light. Truth. Then the call came. Carla had passed. Peacefully. In her sleep. She got to hold her grandson. She got to see me happy again. She left this world with love around her. At the funeral, someone handed me a small sealed envelope. No name on the front. Just my mom's handwriting. For Oriel. Open when you're ready. That night, after Isaac was asleep and Alina was curled beside me, I finally opened it. Inside was a folded letter. Short. Neat. Straight to the point, just like Carla always was. Oriel. I knew. I saw it in her eyes. I saw the guilt, the shifts, the little signs. I told myself it was stress, then hormones, then something else. But I knew she was cheating. I didn't want to believe it. And I didn't want to lose you while you were building a family, even if it was built on sand. I hoped she'd stop. I prayed she'd come clean. I should have told you. I'm sorry I didn't. But I want you to know. You stood by your truth. You didn't bend. And for that I am proud of you. A man who walks away from a lie, even when love tries to keep him there, is a man worth following. Always yours. Mom. I sat there holding that letter like it was made of glass. It didn't change the past, but it did remind me who I was. I didn't burn bridges. I didn't get revenge. I didn't scream or lose myself in the storm. I just stood up and walked out. And that made all the difference. I didn't win everything, I whispered, folding the letter with care. But I kept my integrity. And in the end, I got the family I truly deserved. What would you have done if you were in my shoes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash like if this story hit you, and subscribe for more betrayal stories. We've got more coming, and they only get deeper from here.